Welcome back to Morrowind. I'm going to be playing a challenge from my suggestions. Thank you, Mishima ZO, for the suggestion. Mishima wanted to see a summons only run. I have seen this done before, but this will be my own twist on the challenge. I'll be playing a high elf for the bonus magicka. Really the only skill I'm going to be concerned with is conjuration. If I get other skills up, cool, I can use those for bonus stats and whatever, but I'm really only going to be focused on summoning. I'll be eschewing the sign of the lady in favor of the sign of the Atronach today for even more magicka. So as I run through Sadianin, let's go through the main rules for the challenge. I will not be using skills other than conjuration in combat. I might use skills other than conjuration outside of combat just to make things run a little bit faster. I don't want this to take forever. That being said, the end goal is to defeat Dagoth and destroy the Heart of Lorcan to save Vardenfell from its fate, and I'll have a strategy for destroying the heart that is a little bit convoluted and something I've wanted to show off for a while, but haven't done it in any of my videos yet. I make my normal rounds through Sadianin, though gathering the Mentor's Ring this time is a little bit more difficult than usual. Since I'm limited to summons in combat, I have to figure out a way my one ghost can take on both a ghost and a skeleton. I don't see how this is gonna work. The ghost might be able to take on the ghost, that's fine, but the skeleton is placed at a very interesting spot that lets him shoot me basically through a door, and that's not good for my health. But when I try again, the ghost seems to have spawned in the hallway rather than in the room, which is good. I'm just going to need to let this fight play out. This is a really good representation of what combat is going to look like on my end for most of the video, and sort of explain why I'm going to cut through most of it. Until later, that is. I have several tricks up my sleeve for later, but for right now, starting out, combat is going to be absolutely miserable. It's kind of like a Pokemon battle, except for the enemy Pokemon is fighting me rather than my Pokemon, and they also have a stun gun. On the other hand, my Pokemon isn't even going to start fighting until that other Pokemon either successfully hits me with that stun gun or misses. That's what I get to deal with. So rather than fight the skeleton, I figure I might just be able to run around the skeleton and hopefully open the urn with no casualties. Right, I just have to activate it until my Atronach birth sign goes off and I suck the trap up. I'm going to take the scenic route from Sadianin to Balmora, making a few stops to pick up some items, but mostly flowers and mushrooms. I want to just be able to arrive in Balmora and have Ajira's quests mostly lined up to finish. Upon arrival in Balmora, my first stop is going to be the Mages Guild so I can sign up, and then I can start turning in Ajira's quests. Turn in my mushrooms, I go put the fake soul gem in Galbadir's desk and liberate her of some of her goods. Then I can go ahead and give her flowers and a ceramic bowl, and then make my way to find the stolen reports, and be done in maybe 5 minutes tops. My next stop is Caldera. I need to establish a business contact with Creeper. I am going to have very low personality for most of this run. We'll get there soon enough, but one of the main things I can do here is sell a lot of those potions that Ajira gave me, and I can fight Pemini in order to gain the Boots of Blinding Speed.
Here it comes.
Now, as a high elf, I am really not going to be able to resist my way out of total blindness when I wear these, so they will be used sparingly. You can pin your mini-map to the upper right corner or really wherever you want it, and then you can see where you're going even when you're blind, which is extremely helpful. I rely on this form of movement a lot during these challenges, but from Caldera I'll head to Aldrun in order to talk to Edwina Elbert. First I need to go find the Chronicles of Unshelft, but I'm going to make a pit stop in Vivec just to grab Chimer Vidium out of Sir Lonway's chest. This is an example where I'm going to buy an open lock spell from Sir Lonway just so I can open that chest. I don't really have a problem using that spell outside of combat. It's better than having to mess around in order to steal the key that's near her, or just relying on lockpicking. I also head to Margan to try to clear out the scamp in Hulin's hut. And for some reason, when I was summoning my skeleton minions, they were spawning with no weapon. I don't really know why that was happening, but they were really useless. So I realized it was probably time for me to get some better summon spells. A Flame Atronach seemed to do the trick. From Margan, I head over to Cool. There are two things I want to do in Cool. First, I want to head over to Aldredania in order to gather the Bitter Cup. I had the brilliant idea to use the Scrolls of Icarian Flight to just jump over there. I got it to work eventually. Even though I overshot here a little bit, it's not too far of a swim. I can just put on the Boots of Blinding Speed again and outspeed all the sea critters that want me dead. But through here, the idea is going to just be, don't get hit by the mage. Getting hit by the vampiric ring is going to guarantee me a one-way ticket to death. Let's not do that. I went ahead and bought the Amulet of Recall from Garrick in Caldera, across from Creeper, because he is guaranteed to have an Amulet of Recall in his stock. But I did drink from the Bitter Cup and lowered my agility in exchange for increasing my intelligence. But I'm back to Cool, and this time I'm going to head over to Fort Frostmoth so I can retrieve an item that is going to be pretty pivotal to this build. What I'm looking for is the Mantle of Woe. From Fort Frostmoth, I need to make my way to the Skull Village. So we make our way over with the use of our other two Scrolls of Icarian Flight to avoid the horribly dense mob spawns in this area. While most of the inhabitants of the Skull Village aren't really willing to talk to me at this point in time, there is one person that is desperate for someone to help. Here we meet Lasnir, who really just wants someone to help him find his son.
Please help a sad old man.
He gives us the key to a well, but the way through the well is not going to be very easy for this particular character, so we're going to take the back entrance instead. It's still pretty dangerous in here. I'm going to pre-summon a meat shield in hopes that I can make my way over to Lasnir's son. I wind up just sort of getting body blocked, but it does work out. I do manage to get around. And I just tell Lasnir's son that his father still loves him and that he should give me the mantle. This robe is pretty much everything I need it to be. The main benefits here: Fortify Maximum Magicka 5 times int is insane. Once I get my int up to level 100, that is going to be an additional 500 points of Magicka. This just basically doubles my mana pool. In fact, it over doubles it. And Fortifying Conjuration 50 points is very helpful because that's going to help me cast summoning spells that I probably shouldn't be able to cast. But the other negatives on it don't really affect me all that much. I can also steal a Chronicles of Unshelved for Edwina Albert while I'm near the Imperial Cult Shrine. And I've more or less set myself up. I just need to get a Detect Creatures potion from Sinkin Tree's Shade, which is a quick teleport away. I'm going to pick up more spells here. I also take some detours. I join House Telvanni in order to give myself access to even more summoning spells. Perhaps the best summon spells can be found in Tel Brenora from the spell vendor in Mistress Therana's chambers. He has Summon Storm Atronach, Summon Daedroth, Summon Gold Saint, and Summon Winged Twilight. All 4 of those are very good. I do need to make a quick stop at Sir Loneway to give her back Chimervidium, and by the time I'm done, I can just turn the rest of the quests in to Edwina Albert and get my amulets. While we're here on the topic of improving my character, just making things a little bit easier to do, I'm going to start making some group summoning spells. You can combine multiple summon spells to summon multiple creatures in one casting. That's what I'm doing here. I'm just creating batches of summons. I'm going to create 4 of these all together. The first one is going to be my Bony Boys. It is going to be the selection of undead creatures that I have at my disposal. I have a Lesser Bone Walker, a Bone Lord, a Greater Bone Walker, and my skeleton minion. The second spell are going to be the twins. It's going to be 20 seconds of a golden saint and a winged twilight fighting by my side. If I tried to make it longer, it started to cost way too much mana, and the casting chance was actually going down drastically. The third group summon spell I'll have is going to be the Atronachs. You can get this effect on a glove from Master Arion, but I don't want to do any missions for House Telvanni on this character. It's just going to take too long. So I make my own spell to summon a Fire, Frost, and Storm Atronach all at the same time for 30 seconds. The fourth batch summon I make are my Daedric dudes. These are going to be a Daedroth, a Dremora, and a Hunger. The Hunger is probably one of my favorite summons to have in this game, mostly because it has a paralysis spell that it will cast, and having the Daedroth and the Dremora on top of that will let them capitalize on the paralyze spell. Thinking about it, I probably should have combined the Greater Bonewalker with the Hunger, because then I can get the paralysis and the strength damage from the Greater Bonewalker. I created one final group summon. I called it the Dregs. It consisted of my Summon Ancestor Ghost, Summon Scamp, and Summon Clanfear. This one was pretty good just because a Clanfear is a lot stronger than I expected it to be, but the Scamp and the Ancestor Ghost were about as useful as you'd expect, which is to say, not very. To demonstrate my new prowess, I will go clear out Gorak Manor. I feel so confident, I throw the first punch, even though I know I'll miss, but that will aggro all of my summons onto that enemy.
You are a fool to fight me.
This is much better. Now the last thing to do is just spam a conjuration spell until I have level 100 conjuration. After quite a while of spamming my spell, I reach my ultimate goal of reaching level 7. I've just kind of been putting my points wherever. Usually I'll have a little bit of bonuses I can put into strength from acrobatics level increasing, and I'll always put a level in luck, just because it gives me something. Now I need to start thinking about my enchanted items, so I go over to Mournhold in order to buy a bunch of Grand Soul Gems. This is the only vendor that restocks Grand Soul Gems. I also know I will need mana potions, and because I'm not using alchemy, I go to Necralia of Whitehaven because she has infinitely respawning exclusive Restore Magicka potions. There's only a few more things I want to grab now, the first being the Necromancer's Amulet. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess it depends on who you ask, I need to get Archmage Trebonius to attack me, which shouldn't be hard with a 100-point Frenzy for 2 seconds spell. I can also summon my Entourage ahead of time. Trebonius puts up a better fight than most so far, although the paralysis makes it very difficult for him to be able to do anything meaningful. I keep dodging his spells, and then I realize, oh wait, if he hits me with one of those, then my summons will actually attack. And there we have it. Trebonius' reign has ended, and we have 25 additional points of Spell Absorb, and another 20 from Greed out of the Telvanni Vault. That gives me a total of 95 Spell Absorb. However, in Morrowind, this stat is multiplicative. So I have a 50% chance to Spell Absorb, followed by a 25% chance to Spell Absorb, followed by a 20% chance to Spell Absorb. I think those numbers work out pretty well. I'm going to start making some enchanted items now that I have my soul gems. I have a way to summon a golden saint, so that's where I'm getting my souls. But the first item I'm making is a ring that will make me levitate. That way, I can just put my ring on, and I can simply float over Ghost Fence to start gathering the items I need. Now, I'd normally grab both of the books that are here, Kagernak's Plan Book and Kagernak's Journal. However, I will not be wielding Keening or Sunder, and therefore I have absolutely no use for Wraithguard. That means I can completely bypass the main quest. That means Vivek gets to stay alive. We're doing the back door to the back door this time. I do still need to get Sunder and Keening, but I won't be touching them. So we need to go ahead and defeat the Ash Vampires here. Combat for me is pretty easy when I have the Levitate Ring, because I can actually just summon my creatures and then run away. But there's Sunder, making my way to my next and technically final destination for now. I can defeat this Ash Vampire, but like I said, I can just dump off my summons and then float halfway up the wall, and enemies can't reach me, which, again, very handy. Even if it does take 3 summons. Well, 3 sets of summons, so 3 times 2 is 6, but, you know, whatever. Same difference. And grab the key. But there's Keening. I'm also going to take the time now to run through Dagoth and clear out the enemies here. I'll need a very clear path to Dagoth's chamber later, so I figured I'd just go ahead and clear it now. And if I don't dispose of the corpses, the enemies should stay dead for at least 3 days. And I should be ready to go by then. I can even take on Dagoth now.
Dagoth welcomes you, Nerevar, my old friend. But to this place where destiny is made, why have you come unprepared?
He might be right that I am unprepared. However, I brought all of the guys, and the guys are prepared. So I can go ahead and levitate over Dagoth to the heart.
God, how can you kill a god? What a grand and intoxicating.
And then have him take a little fall. But from here, I just leave. I'll get to why later.
Come.
Because I'm also going to clear my way through Kagurun, which seems a little bit weird, because usually, if I go to Kagurun at all, it's just to kill this Ash Vampire and grab his belt, because it's cool. That's it. I actually need to clear my way through Kagurun. I need to make sure every enemy is no longer living, because I'm going to need to drag an NPC through this mess. Even though that NPC is going to be hostile towards me the entire way through here, I want to make absolutely sure that this NPC isn't going to get murked by some random enemy that just got forgotten. Oh yeah, sun damage. One more stop while I'm over on this side of the world anyway. I decide to make my way into Iberdad in order to grab myself a healing item. One last enchanted item I need to make as well is going to be a ring that gives levitate on another, and we're taking a guild guide with us back into Red Mountain. This is a long walk. What I need to do is aggro them with my frenzy spell for them to chase me over long distances. Then I can hit them with a command spell to go through things like doors, or travel with the Silt Strider. I am on my way back to Kagurun. I'm swimming through the waters north of Kuul, but for whatever reason there is a Redoran guard stuck in the water. I don't know what town they came from. I suppose Kuul is a Redoran holding. Maybe it came from Kuul, but this guard is just chasing down the ocean life, and well, let's just say he's gonna have a great sushi bar later. But we're going to continue with this plan, running through the wilderness, ignoring the wildlife. I'm slightly faster than it. I have some enchantments on my gear that restore my health over time, so I'm not too worried about it. And I can get her inside of Kagurun with the command spell like I showed before. Really not too much to worry about here. Again, I've already cleared out these enemies, so it's really just aggroing her with the frenzy spell and then using a command spell when I need to go through doors. On the other side, I can use some summons to help clear out some of these cliff racers before taking her outside again And when I get close to Dagoth-Ur's citadel, when I'm approaching Dagoth-Ur's citadel, I can just kind of lead her close to the edge. I'm not exactly sure if NPCs in this game can take fall damage. I'm pretty sure they can, mostly because I'm going to hit this NPC with a levitate spell. That's what that other enchanted item was, the one that I made on the ring, the levitate on target. It was just so this NPC can jump down a cliff with no negative repercussions. Gonna go ahead and open the door and then await. She wants to hit me, but the levitate is confusing her, so she just isn't. And we can get inside Dagoth-Ur's citadel. I'm taking her down into the heart chamber. Dagoth-Ur is already at the bottom. I realize there's a few dreamers I need to take care of, but I can just leave the NPC at the front before aggroing her with the frenzy spell and leading her to the heart itself. Now, the heart is a level 1 creature with over 1,000 hit points. So, when I travel with the heart commanded, it will come with me. It doesn't move, but it is still following me. So as long as it's close enough and I enter a new zone, it will come with me. I think you can maybe sort of see where I'm going with this. Igrola is going to be the bearer of Keening. I'm going to make sure to buy other weapons from him just in case he tries to equip those. I don't think he will because Keening is a very good weapon.
Well, where did I put that?
And Hodlismod will be my bearer of Sunder. I'm going to aggro both of these NPCs to me now. The heart should still be commanded. But I drop a new command on it just in case. And this time it doesn't work. They should be attacking the heart. I don't know why I can't get it to work here. I actually did this a few times. This is just the first try. Because it's the funniest. But I try a different way. I think, okay, well maybe if I can just lead them into a place with less NPCs, I'm going to use this guard tower. That should work. So I get both of my wielders of Kagernak's tools stuck in this guardhouse before walking the heart there. If I go straight to the guardhouse, it doesn't come with, but I can kind of jump door to door and the heart will follow me. Kind of a cheeky little trick. It's kind of fun. The heart turns to like look at you. But here we go. We'll see if it'll work this time. I recommand the heart to make sure the duration is refreshed. And I need to make sure Sunder hits first anyway. There it is. Sunder's hit the heart. We're set on that happening. But now I need to figure out how to get Igrola to attack the heart. Igrola didn't just stop moving. I had to get him mid walking into the wall session. I thought I could just lead him back to the heart. Maybe because Hodlismod was already attacking, he would attack the heart as well. But that's not how it worked out. So I tried something different. I tried to leave the building to get him to follow me from a different spot, and then I remembered the heart was still commanded to follow me. So it followed me into the other side of the tower, and I had a similar setup where Igrola was close to the heart.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Fool! Stop! This is the
But that's it. The Heart of Lorcan is destroyed. I can take these. They've been very helpful. Thank you, Igrola. Thank you, Hodless Mod. You can go home now. Now all we need to do is return to the Heart Chamber, so I can put my ring on again to float away. And upon entering the Heart Chamber once again, we are treated to see Lorcan crumble. And with that, we've done it. Morrowind with only summons. Not for lack of trying. I did try to give this Dremora Sunder to see if he would attack the heart. And I probably tried this for about an hour. I could not wrap my head around how to make it work. So I did try to make my summons attack the heart. It just did not want to work. There's got to be some way to do it. I think maybe if I summon the creature and then aggro it and then take the heart through a door and then back into the same room, there's a chance my summon would have attacked it, but that would have required pretty much the same setup that I had before, and I did not want to go through the trouble of doing that again. I also tried to give the heart spells. I was trying to give it Fire Bite, so if I got too close to it, maybe if it was aggroed on me, it would try to throw Fire Bite at me, and then if it did that, then my summons would actually aggro onto the enemy that attacked me, and then they would start swinging at it. But again, that plan didn't work either. But that's it for this challenge. I had a really good time with this one. I really liked the suggestion. Like I said, I've seen other content creators make a summons only video for Morrowind, but this was my spin on that. I had a lot of fun with this one. I think summoning is super fun, and it's probably the best in Morrowind. I think Oblivion is okay for summoning. I think Skyrim has the worst summons. It's not fun to summon things in Skyrim. You need to go all the way up to level 100 and get the last perk in the tree in order to summon more than one thing at a time. It's way more fun to be able to make a spell where you can just summon like 10 enemies at once. That's funny, but that's my opinion. But I hope you had a good time watching. If you enjoyed, I'd appreciate if you leave a like. Subscribe if you like these videos. I put them out every other week. And thanks again for watching. Goodbye.